Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas will be held on Thursday, June 9th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. at City Hall, 22870 Priest Road, Sandy Oaks, Texas. All agenda items are subject to action. The City of Sandy Oaks will also provide a live stream video and telephonic access to the meeting. The public will be permitted to offer public comments in person, telephonically, or by video as provided by the agenda and as permitted by the presiding officer during the meeting by signing up with the city secretary at least 15 minutes in advance of the meeting. If providing comments in person, or at least 2 hours in advance of the meeting, if by emailing cityclerk@cityofsandyoaks.com or by calling 210-607-0834 if speaking telephonically or by video. Written comments may be submitted to the city secretary up to 2 hours before the meeting by emailing cityclerk@cityofsandyoaks.com and will be provided to the city council for their consideration. A recording of the telephonic meeting will be made available to the public in accordance with the Texas Public Information Act upon written request. Madam Secretary, may we have a call to order and quorum call?
Yes, sir. Mayor Pro Tem Martinez.
Here.
Alderman Alvarado. Here. Alderwoman Martinez.
Here.
Alderman Rapino.
Here.
Alderman Coffin-Becker.
Here.
And we do have the city attorney, Cassandra Ortiz here. You do have a quorum, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I would ask that you rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item 3, we have a guest tonight. And before I introduce him, we have 4 new members of council. Last year, Robert Rainey presented a presentation considering joining Bexar County for some development programs. Because we had applied for a grant through TDA, we were ineligible. So we postponed it for a year. And now we've invited him back. Robert Rainier, the Bexar County Community Development Director, and he's going to tell us about participating in their programs. Sir, you have the floor.
Right, thank you so much, Mayor, and thank you for having me, Council. My name is Robert Rand, Director of Community Development and Housing for Bexar County. And our department administers 3 grants to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The first of which is the Community Development Block Grant. We receive approximately $2.3 million on an annual basis. We can use that grant on a broad and wide-ranging uses to include street infrastructure, so we can come in and reconstruct some of the streets in the city of Sandy Oaks. Public services, so we can fund programs like Meals on Wheels to come take care of any senior residents of Sandy Oaks, and also public facility improvements. There's a senior center here and they need solar panels. The uses are broad and wide ranging. Second grant that we administer is a home investment partnership program, and we receive approximately $650,000 on an annual basis, and that's to increase the supply of affordable housing. And the third grant is the Emergency Solutions Grant, and that grant helps individuals who are homeless or at risk of homelessness to regain housing stability. So the grant that I'd like to talk to you about and answer any questions that you have is the Community Development Block Grant. The Community Development Block Grant, we can use that grant in any low and moderate income part of the city. And so I studied the city before coming in, and there's 2 census tracts in Sandy Oaks. And one of those census tracts qualifies for CDBG funding. And that's the area that's east of Skillet, if I pronounce that correctly, and south of New Mathis. So basically eastern part of Sandy Oaks qualifies for CDBG assistance. And so if you know of a road that needs to be repaved, we can deploy CDBG funds to reconstruct that road because it's a low and moderate income census tract. And so I'm just here to address any questions that you have. There are some imminent deadlines for HUD if you'd like to participate. The first of which is July 15th. By July 15th, the city would have to notify HUD and the county of its intention to participate in our CDBG program. And then by August 5th, we have to submit a cooperation agreement to HUD. And that cooperation agreement has to be ratified by both city council and Bear County commissioners. So if you have any questions regarding our CDBG program, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions?
Yeah, I do. Sorry, did somebody say?
No.
As far as repaving the street, well, I guess to take it a couple steps back, what are, it's almost like a too good to be true, right? Like, what are some of the stipulations with joining this program?
Well, so there's no cost to the city. The county will bear 100% of the cost. And so the average allocation is about $300,000. And we have $600,000 allocation, but there's no fiscal impact to the city. However, you would be precluded from applying for certain grants. So you would accept CDBG kind of in lieu of those other.
And
I'm sorry. Is that because of the size of the city, or it's just some things that we don't? qualify?
Implication of benefit.
If I can interject, we currently have a CDBG grant through the Texas Department of Agriculture.
Mhm.
We can no longer apply for CDBG grants other than through the county.
Makes sense.
That's the stipulation.
Mhm.
And if I may continue to speak, we're 7 years into this journey.
Mhm.
We have received one grant. And I think we're missing a lot by not partnering with the county. That's my take on it. We have been out here isolated on the southern end of the county, trying to take care of all these things. And we need to partner with people who have been doing this since these programs began.
Mhm.
We have 2-year terms. By the time a person starts learning the system, they're up for election. They may or may not be back.
Mhm.
We need to partner with a more
Consistent.
steady system. But that's only my take. I'm sorry.
And so you can opt out on an annual basis. And the other thing is that the city of Somerset and Glen Army, along with 12 other cities within Bear County, Universal City, Converse, Kirby, Ponies Heights, all participate in the program. So the uses are pretty broad and wide ranging. I was talking to Mayor about a week ago, and he was telling me about a constituent who's elderly who needed assistance with a ramp. And so we partner with agencies like Merced Housing Texas, and provided that gentleman is older than 65 years of age, we can go in at no cost to him and construct that ramp, take care of electrical work, plumbing work, foundation work, roofing work, whatever he needs. And that's just kind of one of the benefits to being part of our CDBG program.
Our requests are competitive, though, or are they not? In other words, just because we ask for something doesn't necessarily mean we will get it. Or does it, because there are other people competing for that money, for the grant proceed. How does that work is what I'm asking.
So with respect to infrastructure, we receive $2.3 million for CDBG, roughly 300,000 of which goes to public service activities. The other $2 million goes to infrastructure projects that are split up amongst the 4 precincts in Bear County. And so we try to make sure that there's an even split between our 4 precincts, really 3 of them. It's precinct 1, which Sandy Oaks is a part of, precinct 4, which is the northeast portion of Bear County, and then also precinct 2, which is Helotes and Balcones Heights. So it is competitive, but I argue that it's far less competitive than a grant through TDA.
But it does require justification is what I'm getting at.
Yes, that's right. And there are certain conditions. So we couldn't undertake a project in a floodplain, for example. But we can undertake flood mitigation and drainage projects and street infrastructure projects. But there is some red tape.
Okay, I just wondered what the process was.
How long does it take to get through a lot of this red tape you're discussing, to go through this process?
Well,
We find a road that needs to be repaired. Is it gonna take us 6 months, 8 months before somebody even comes out to start it? What's it gonna take?
so does the city have an engineer on?
We do, yes.
Okay, so and you know the condition of the roads. And so all we would do is either the county or the city could release an RFP, a request for proposals, to make sure that to develop plans for reconstruction and hire a contractor to reconstruct the street. And if you guys are amenable to joining, the city would, again, the county would submit a cooperation agreement to HUD by August 5th. And then by September, you guys would be considered a participating city. And anytime after September, you would be eligible for funding. So we can start a project as early as September. And generally, these projects take between 3 and 6 months, just depending on how shovel ready they are.
You said there was only $300,000 allocated to this type of work?
No, well, that's the average allocation. So it can go anywhere $300,000. Some projects are $600,000. It just depends on the length of the street
Okay, okay,
and what's done. So
that makes
sometimes
sense.
we do drainage in addition to full depth reclamation of the street.
I was just, when you said 300,000, I guess I fixated. I was like, well, if it costs more than that, then who's on the hook for the bill? But I get it now.
And what we can always do is break this street up in phases. We can do $300,000 at a time, depending on funding availability.
And that area is the only area that you found suitable or that could meet the requirements.
Right, so that northern portion of the city does not qualify. There's 2 census tracts. One of the census tracts qualifies, the other does not. And again, that is east of Skilla and south of New Mathis is the area that qualifies.
So based on the census.
Yes, that's right.
So that means that for our community, we'd be pretty much split in half. One half of our community would benefit from this, the other half not so much. Because of
Census.
a census tract, a census bureau.
That's true with respect to infrastructure projects. However, if
Other
an
projects.
individual is a senior, age 62 and older, or if they're disabled, they are presumed to be principally low and moderate income. So as long as they qualify for CDBG, we can either qualify a project based on the area or based on the people that it serves within an area. And so for that other portion of the city, we can, as long as they are CDBG eligible, we can go in and renovate their homes or make sure that they have hot meals delivered to them on a daily basis.
So that'd be more on an individual basis.
That is correct.
Okay.
For the area that doesn't qualify, we would qualify the clients.
Okay.
And there's another way to look at that, sir. If we can get the funds for half of the city, then we only have to deal with half of the issues. You know, this isn't a daycare project. It's a
Oh, I understand.
partnering project. And any bit of help we can get, particularly in the,
Well, part of my concern was that there are people that are gonna live on the half the census that
Yeah.
would qualify, but they're not in the census
Well,
qualified area.
different
And he was able to
different
qualify.
programs. Other questions?
Okay.
You good? Good. You have anything to add, Robert?
Yeah, just again, that we have a very tight turnaround because we have to get an agreement here at city council, but also at commissioners board in order to meet that August 5th deadline.
Okay, then let's step up to agenda item 3B, discuss and possible action on resolution 2022-159, authorizing the execution of the Housing and Urban Development Cooperative Agreement between the City of Sandy Oaks and Bear County, and approving the City of Sandy Oaks participation in a 2-year urban county entitlement period designation for the Community Development Block Grant, Home Investment Partnership, and Emergency Solution Grant Program for fiscal year 2023 and 2024.
I make a motion, if there's no further discussion, that we
Let
approve.
me ask if there's any further discussion.
Oh, okay.
Any questions or discussions on the resolution? Okay,
Well, then I do make a motion that we approve resolution number 2022-159, approving that resolution.
okay, may I ask you to include in your Motion.
Motion, yes.
who's authorized to complete the,
That the mayor is authorized to complete the approval of the resolution.
okay,
The agreement, the cooperative agreement,
The-
the cooperative agreement.
Oh, the cooperative agreement.
okay. Let me try to,
Okay, I make a motion that we approve, that the mayor is authorized to approve the cooperative agreement once we approve resolution number 2022-159.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Alderman Rufino moved to approve resolution 2022-159 and approving the mayor to complete the agreements, seconded by Alderman Coffin-Dapper. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Madam Secretary, that's unanimous. Robert, thank you very much. This is not quite ready to sign, but I'll get a signed copy to you tomorrow.
Sounds good. We will get the cooperation agreement to Cassandra as soon as possible for review and then get it over to you. Probably will be next week.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
You can hang out or go home, sir.
Right. Well, I'm gonna get home with my dogs.
Okay, Robert, thank you for coming.
Would you like a cat?
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and we shall move on to agenda item 3C, presentation from Brian Magnus with Armstrong, Vaughn and Associates on independent audit for fiscal year ending 9/30/2021 with possible discussion and or action. Take it away, sir.
All right. The council for having me here, and special thanks to Alderman Martinez, without whose help I probably wouldn't be here today. He really picked up the wheels and put back on the bus when things kind of broke down here. So without further ado, if we could turn to the audit report, the bound document that I handed out a little earlier. If you could look at page 2. Page 2, unless you want me to read the entire audit report, we'll start with page 2 at the top. This is our opinion. And we did issue an unqualified opinion for these financial statements, so we do feel that they're materially correct. We're going to flip over a little bit, over to page 11. 11 is sort of the income statement for the city that's for the different funds. The city has grown over the last couple of years and now has 3 different funds. It has a general fund, which it's always had, capital projects fund, and a debt service fund. I just wanted to draw your attention to the very first column there, which is the general fund activity. If you go about 2/3 of the way down page 11, you'll see a line that says total expenditures. So the total expenditures for the city for the year, $772,000. If you divide that by 12, it's about $64,000 a month. Now, if you drop to the very bottom of that column, the general fund column, the fund balance of the general fund is $242,000. So if you take that and divide it by the 64,000, you get a little over 3 months of expenses and fund balance. And we do recommend that most cities have at least 3 to 6 months of expenses and fund balance in case pandemic or something like that happens. So the city's in decent shape financially. We could move over to page 20. So page 20 is a look at the capital assets of the city. And I just kind of wanted to look at the additions column, so the second column of numbers in note F. And the big number there is construction in progress. There was $90,570. That was the finish out primarily of the city hall. Okay, and then it was all finished out, so it moved over to become a building and improvement, and that's shown in the transfers and disposals column, the numbers in column 3. Okay, so that was kind of the big thing for the city. The other one of the big things, the other big thing on page 21. Page 21 is then a look at the long-term debt of the city. And I just wanted to bring your attention to the center of the page. There's a table there. This is this represents your bond activity over the next 15 years until 2035. So those are the new $800,000 bonds that are issued. If we could go over to page 24. Page 24 then is a look at what happened in the general fund. Look at the budgeted activity versus what actually occurred. The second column of numbers is the final budget. The third column of numbers, which is bolded, is what actually happened during 2021. And then the third column of numbers is the variance, with a negative number being bad and a positive number being good. So overall, if you focusing on that fourth column of numbers there, the variance, overall the city was actually ahead of budget in revenues by $18,269. And if you fall to the very bottom of that column, expenditures were actually over budget by $88,241. But again, if you crawl up just a couple lines, you'll see a capital outlay row. It's $90,571. And again, that was just the finish out of the building, which was not budgeted at the time, but it was it's known. So if you take that out of the mix, the city is actually ahead of budget. And I know I flew through the report really quickly. If there are any questions about it, please let me know. Otherwise, I was going to move on to a couple of the letters.
Brian, actually,
Yes, sir.
just for the public, can you state the opinion? I just want them to be able to hear.
Absolutely. Okay, so the opinion is at the top of page 2. In our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects. The respective financial position of the governmental activities and the major funds of the city of Sandy Oaks, Texas, as of September 30th, 2021, and the respective changes in financial position thereof for the year then ended in conformity with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. That's kind of our pledge of allegiance. That we're just saying there that we feel everything is materially correct that's in this document. No other questions? There are two other letters that I wanted to talk to you about very briefly. The first is, it's entitled Communication with Those Charged with Governance. It's a 5-page document. On this one, I just wanted to turn over to page 4. Page 4 includes our recommendations based on some of the processes we saw while we were doing the audit. Go to page 4, there are 3 recommendations there. The first is a fund usage policy, which I've actually talked with Alderman Martinez about this, and it's just a thing that accountants like to see. It's not a big deal, but at some point, we need to have a fund usage policy for the city, which is just basically says, okay, we're going to use part of our undesignated fund balance for streets or for parks or for whatever the council chooses to do. The second item is, again, there's an informal capitalization policy, and I believe we've kind of come up with $2,000 gets capitalized. I think purchased over $2,000. The city should probably come up with a formal policy. And I think I also might have
I think
given,
you sent me one.
I might have sent you an example. The third is a little more critical. This is the city, at least for the fiscal year under audit, used QuickBooks Online, and we do recommend, because of the fund designations that the city has, that a separate company be set up for each of the 3 funds. There was commingling of the funds, and it was a little bit difficult for us to tease out. We were able to do it in the end, thanks to everybody, the collective efforts. But we do recommend that you go ahead and set up 3 separate companies, and we can talk more about that in detail. I don't want to waste too much of the council's time on that. It's a technical matter. Okay, then there is one other document. It's called Material Weaknesses in Internal Controls. A little bit of time on this. So the primary issue that we saw as we were looking at the internal controls for the city is, if you go to the very bottom of this, so there's a lot of legal jargon here, but if you move to the bottom of this, the segregation of duties, you only have 1 employee, and that's Catherine, and she wears many hats. So we need to make sure, as you are reviewing her work and on a monthly basis, on a bi-weekly basis, reviewing the disbursement, signing checks, looking at bank accounts and such. We need to just make sure that everything looks the way it should. This is not unusual. This is not an unusual situation. Many of our clients have only 1 or 2 employees, but just requires an extra level of vigilance from the council. Moving over to the second page, and this is another more technical type matter related to the accounting. We drew the information from the accounting system on November 10th. It's called Integrity of the Accounting System. We drew the information for the audit on November 10th, and there were a number of transactions that were made after that point that were backdated to the period of the audit. And I think what needs to happen is what I'm trying to recommend here is probably need someone to go in and kind of look at the books and just make sure everything's kosher, because the next audit is right around the corner. And we just want to make sure everything's in line. We didn't find anything that was concerning. It was just that there were some transactions that were backdated, and I think it's reconciled those. That's my spiel. Any questions?
I want to get technical for a moment. You setting up 3 companies, you say?
Yes.
Expand on
Okay.
that.
So when I was going through the income statement page,
Yeah.
you noticed there were 3 different funds. There was a general fund, capital projects, and the debt service fund. So QuickBooks, I'm not asking the city to go out and purchase Encode. That would be an accounting system that's way beyond the needs of the city, but QuickBooks is adequate. However, in order to maintain the integrity of the funds that the city has, you actually have to set up a separate company file for each of the 3 funds. Right now, they're all in one company file, all 3
Okay.
funds. So that's why we were having to do some teasing out of the cash and other data, because it was intermingled. So it is a technical.
So
Well,
within
but
QuickBooks.
Within
That-
minutes.
that's one I can understand.
Okay.
Okay, so, yeah, and
Yeah, so 3 accounts.
that's pretty simple, that
Yeah.
it should have been done as the accounts were created.
That would, ideally,
That-
it's just difficult with the turnover.
No, sir, I do my books and I do my stepson's books and I do my brother's books and
Very good.
they're not all in one account. So, but,
Yeah.
Okay.
uh, that was my only question. But I did hear you say at one point, the city's in good financial condition.
Yeah, yes, so if, there are several metrics, but one of which is the, the number of months of expenses and fund balance, general fund balance. And there are several months, we'd like to see, we recommend 3 to 6 months with, of course, we'd like to see more, towards the higher end of that range.
More is
However, the
better.
Cities within the range, so,
I like to hear that
yes.
loud and often.
Loud and clear.
Okay, sir, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Very nice meeting you, sir. Thank you for your report. You can hang out or go home.
I'll make it out.
You barely
All
want to.
right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. Have a good evening. Thank you for your
A
presentation.
motion to approve. Audit.
Okay. Well, we don't need him for that. I would entertain a motion to approve the audit report.
I'll make a motion.
to approve the audit.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the audit report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you again, Brian.
Thank you.
Brian, may I ask if you could send in an electronic version of what you?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I have it.
Oh, you
right?
have
Oh,
it?
Or did you revise it?
I think you have both, but I'll go ahead and send them.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Thank goodness. Do we have any citizens to be heard now?
So we didn't-
Ma'am?
we do not.
I'm shocked. Uh, And we'll skip right on through. The mayor's not going to make any announcements tonight. Moving on to agenda item 6, consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered routine by the city council of the city of Sandy Oaks and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. We only have one, folks. Approve the minutes from the May 26, 2022 regular city council meeting. Questions, discussion? May I have a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda.
Okay, I have a motion to accept the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
One second.
Second by, motion by Alderman Rapino, second by Alderwoman Alvarado. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously, ma'am. Agenda item 7, financial report. Madam Secretary, you have the floor.
Thank you. So the beginning balance of our general fund as of May 1st, 2022, the balance is $325,192.89. We had some checks and payments of $70,134.27. With deposits and credits of $73,201.19. You'll see the total clear transactions. So we have the balance as of May 31st, 2022 of $328,259.81. In between the rest of those pages, if you could flip through to find the bonds next, the bond account reconciliation summary. I'm not sure because I didn't do mine front and back, but it just says bond account
For bond.
reconciliation. So
Second
that-
page from the last.
and the last-
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
yep. And so the beginning balance as of May 1st, 2022 was $665,020.12. We did have a payment of $947.20. You may find that on the, from the general fund. So what occurred is that the bond account is in a savings account. So I can't write checks nor do ACH payments from a savings account. So it was recommended that we keep it because it's an interest-bearing savings account, that we keep it as such. But when we need to make a payment, we then can move the funds from the bond account to the general fund and then make the payment from the general fund. So there is that trail that'll show. We did have the interest deposited for the month of May of $28.91. That left us with an ending balance of the bond account of May 31st, 2022 of $664,101.83. And the last page would be the ARPA fund reconciliation. There was no change, but I still went ahead and reconciled it. Beginning and ending balance for May of 2022 of $519,034.34. And that's all I have.
Okay, comments, questions?
Can we get next time, can we get an actual budget?
Yeah, I will. Yes. Sir.
Cool.
I would have done it this week. I don't know.
No worries.
On vacation.
Fine. I can't blame you.
Further comments, questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the financial report as reported.
Okay, I have a motion to accept the financial report as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, Alderman Rapino made the motion. Alderwoman Martinez made a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is unanimous, ma'am. Okay, agenda item 8, Police Department. That's you, sir. You have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So the news, so our police,
Are we on 8A?
Updates and amendments.
8A, yes.
Okay, updates and enough. Okay.
so the police vehicle has already been returned. It's already been outfitted. I'm not sure if y'all have already seen the vehicle already, so it's ready to go. I think Mayor Pro Tem Martinez is scheduled a meet and greet tomorrow at either 10 o'clock?
No.
9 o'clock, tacos and donuts. Anybody that wants to attend and look at the new police vehicle that will be on the streets, hopefully Friday for the shift. So we're excited to put that police vehicle on the streets so everybody knows that, we're out there.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, sir. Agenda item 8B, presentation of monthly report by Chief Lopez with possible discussion and or action.
For the monthly activity report for the month of May, if you're looking at May 2022 court defendants, we have 91 of them. We had 54 cases, dropping down to traffic stops. Our traffic stops had increased to 106 stops for the month. 113 citations were issued, along with 46 warnings as well. Calls for service, we had 53 calls for service for the month. Myself, I took in 14 calls for service, and Corporal Castillo took in 22, along with Officer Maldonado with 17 reports as well. Dropping down to arrest, wanted persons was 5. 2 calls for service for assist EMS, 1 alarm business, 1 alarm fire, 1 alarm residence, 1 call for service for animal cruelty, 1 for animal cow, 2 for dogs, 1 assault, 1 assault in progress, burglary of a residence, burglary of a vehicle, and then 6 civil matters as well. In the next page, 1 call for service for criminal mischief, one officer for illegal burning, 4 damage property calls for service, 1 disturbance noise, 1 disturbance shots heard, 1 disturbance verbal, 2 fire vehicle, 1 harassment verbal, 1 information call, 1 injured sick call, 1 lost property call, 3 narcotics laws, 1 patrol by, and then 1 sex offense child call for service, 1 shooting / person vehicle call for service, 1 suspicious person, 1 suspicious vehicle, 1 telephone harassment, and 1 theft as well, along with 3 welfare checks and 1 vehicle tow. And then turn to the last page, we had 5 arrests. 4 out of the 5 arrests were non-residents. You look at the resident was a criminal trespass, and the other one was a traffic SAP traffic warrant, along with assault, family violence, and lawful carry and possession of a controlled substance.
Names of those last.
Question for you, like when we get damage at the park, things like that, are those counted in here?
There's no calls for service that by employees. Those have
So
been-
we should be calling it in?
Yes.
Okay. Because I've seen consistencies in the damage, right? Some of the stuff they scratch in, they paint in, whatever they do.
Mhm.
And if we can catch them in the act and then build a case off of that. But that would require us communicating with you, documenting it, or with the police, not just you.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other discussions or questions? Okay. Right, chief, let's talk about agenda item 8C.
Do you want to read the item first?
No, he can read it. Okay, agenda item C, discuss and or possible action on quote received from Southwest Building, Southwest Public Safety for 2015 Ford Explorer for ARPA funds and other matters related thereto.
So I've provided several copies for y'all to review as well. This vehicle, like I said, it's a 2000, as the mayor provided, it's a 2015 black and white Ford Explorer. Price for this vehicle is $23,500. So the vehicle has 84,000 miles, engine hours is 6,738 hours, and engine hours, idle hours is 4,587. So the vehicle, like I said, has 84,000 miles. For this price, $23,500. The equipment is pretty much everything that you can ask for a better price and equipped for this vehicle. There's some other things that may, in the future, we're gonna have to get for this vehicle, but for this mileage and price tag, is a very well priced vehicle. It's got low mileage at the same time. Like I said, it's 2015, but it's it has all lights, cage, provided picture as well. It's got a watch guard system that's already in there. That watch guard system is valued at $2,500. It's got clear in between partition in the back, side panels as well. You're spending a lot of money. Base price for an Explorer, you're looking at $40,000, just a base price. That doesn't include equipment and things like that. So outfitting a vehicle already in itself is between $10,000 and $15,000 just to add all those lights and sirens and installation and things like that.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How much additional expense will we have to do the logos and I mean, we've had experience with that in the recent past, but
The things that for logos and everything else that is gonna an additional 7,500 on top of,
Not doing anything.
no, but just for the logos,
No,
The signage.
Everything,
Everything,
everything, yeah.
everything.
street ready, how much
Street ready.
more?
An additional 7,500.
Okay, that,
Moved it up to
that,
That would also
31,000.
cover.
yeah, that pretty well.
Communications. 'cause I
30,000.
know there's some
31,000.
changes in
Communication,
The radios.
we use just handheld. We're not, none of the other vehicles, except for my patrol vehicle, has a in-car radio system. All other vehicles don't have this.
Okay, that answers my question. We're looking at $31,000.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
Chief, do you know the service history on the vehicle?
The vehicle came out of Cedar Park. It was primarily used for patrol, but other than that, it wasn't a supervisor's vehicle or anything like that. It was just used for patrol duties.
And they're on regular maintenance, so we know that it's looked after.
I'm sure that can be provided as well. Yeah, but looking at it inside and out, the vehicle doesn't have any physical damage. I mean, it's a patrol vehicle, but it's a very well maintained. Looking at, I can go further detail once I get that, I guess, the Carfax. But other than that, it's a very clean vehicle.
Like we discussed, my only concern would be the engine idle hours.
Mhm.
Because that number of 4587 equates to quite a few, in theory, it equates to quite a few miles by calculation. The vehicle looks great, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
My concern is, are we gonna run into transmission issues, engine issues with, I understand 84,000 physical miles, but potentially with the idle hours, it's 200,000 more. Right, it's a lot to just be sitting around and running and not circulating.
So compared to I know we had discussed that briefly, just to brief everybody else. The 2019 Taurus that we have, it has 33,000 miles. The engine hours on that vehicle has 3,558 hours and idle hours is 2,504. Compared to the 2015 Explorer, has 84,000 miles. It's a 2015 as well. You're looking at about 12,000 miles per year. Engine hours on that vehicle is 6,738. Idle hours is 4,587. If you're looking at difference between both vehicles on engine hours, in between is 3,000 for engine hours and 2,000 idle hours. Difference between a 2015 versus a 2019.
And of course, you would divide those idle hours between the years. It wasn't all in 1 year.
Well,
You know,
you don't know, but yeah. I mean, in theory,
basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for the Explorer, you're looking about runtime 180 days of runtime. So
Truckers idle more than that.
That's what I'm talking about. Our trucks idle all the time.
And this is gas fuel.
yes,
Yeah, I feel that as long as the maintenance was cared for, because it being a vehicle for the city, I'm sure it was constantly, maintained. So it's like a one car.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the inspection of the tires as well, they got good tread on it, so that's a very good vehicle. For the price and everything put together overall, $31,000 outfitted for this patrol vehicle. You can't beat that.
How many vehicles will that give us?
That will give us four.
Well, we only have 3 officers.
Name the 4 we have, sir.
We have my vehicle, it's a
Yes.
2011 or 12 Impala. Then we have the 2019 Ford Taurus. And then we have the 2011, 2015 Tahoe.
So what would you plan? How would we employ those 4 vehicles?
Well, that incorporates to my next,
Also,
yes, that is correct.
okay, when do we plan to have him? We have it
once once the Officer Maldonado completes his field training, my is to open up when he's done, probably early, mid-August, take applications, keep it open for a month, and then advertise in September or so. We'll advertise for the month of August and make a decision by September and have that officer beginning of mid-September and be done by December.
And so how then will we cover the city?
Or
What, how will we patrol the city then, time-wise?
three full-time patrol officers, you're looking at 6 to 2, then 2 to 10, and then overlap from 2 to 10. The third shift, we're looking at between 6 to 1 in that gap. So because the 2 to 10 shift and the overnight shift, there's always calls of service. That's the busiest times and needs 2 officers during that time frame. So obviously, weekend coverage would be priority as well, along with myself covering Monday through Friday during that time.
So there'll be good use for those vehicles.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Okay.
And that will allow these vehicles, because my vehicles only has 33,000 miles, and these officers will take care of it. It'll be a very long time before we, need another vehicle. Way longer.
Chief, does your staff do any kind of DOT, maybe not DOT, but inspections, oils, fuels, tread wear,
Yes, during
logs, yeah, pre-trips.
before every shift, every officer is required to do vehicle inspection report for their daily check vehicle oil, radar check, water, make sure everything around it, the vehicle is as it should, no distinctive, dents or anything like that. Check the oil, water, fluid, things like that, and oil.
We have a maintenance schedule, right? for the
Yes.
vehicles? Okay, well, that should take care of it.
There's a pre-inspection every time before that vehicle goes out. Yes.
Any more discussion? I would think we should allocate,
And these are ARPA funds, right?
I think we should allocate $32,000 from the ARPA funds to cover the purchase and upgrade to street-ready condition myself. But that's only my opinion.
Last you heard, it's still in
I'll make
stock,
a
right?
motion that we
Yes.
do.
Yes,
So we have,
I advise Southwest Public Safety to advise me if there was any, if there was going to be impending sale or anything like that. Nothing at this point.
Okay, I thought I heard something, sir.
I'll make a motion that we do allocate $32,000.
Okay, I have a motion to allocate $32,000 from the ARPA funds to purchase and upgrade, make street ready the 2015 black and white Ford.
I'll second.
And I have a second from Alderwoman Martinez. More discussion? Ma'am?
You didn't mention the name of who made it.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I have a motion from Alderman Coffindaffer to approve to move $32,000, allocate $32,000 for the purchase of a 2015 Ford. And a second from Alderwoman Martinez.
will that reduce our ARPA funds to 487,000 if we take 32 grand out? So
We just looked at that.
Yeah, I
That's what forgot. I thought it was
I already
590.
deducted it. If you take 31,000 out, will it reduce it to 487,000? I think it will. I just wondered
ARPA
if
fund
that,
is 519,000.
and we take 32 out, it'll be
Yeah.
487,000. Okay, well, go ahead, Mayor.
Okay, well, if you're gonna discuss it, let's do it
Well, I
before we.
just wondered if.
487.
Yeah, 487, that's what I thought. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, and we're due for the second tranche, so,
okay. Okay.
uh,
I just want everybody to be aware.
I have a motion and I have a second, and with no more discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Chief? Make a deal.
Thank you, council, for this. I mean, this is one of the biggest things for officers is to have a good, reliable patrol vehicle that's equipped. That's, for them, it's a quality of life to be able to go out in the community and do their jobs.
From 25.
Okay, gentlemen, let's come to order. Agenda item 8D, discuss under possible action on realigning the code enforcement officer position to a police officer position and consider posting job advertisement for one police officer position. Chief, would you like to address that to council?
Yes, the reason I would like to bring this for discussion is because we've had no movement on the code enforcement position. I think we can better utilize moving the code enforcement into a police officer position, or we can still use them as code enforcement along with myself and any other officers that has that comes with their position as well. We've had no movement whatsoever with that position, and to be able to add another officer to the streets for public safety would be a great addition for coverage for the city in the future.
With that, so we're going to add another police officer but his main job would be code enforcement. Is that, or are we going to just have him also do code enforcement as well as being, what's the main emphasis of that officer's job going to be? I'm just wondering.
Police.
Police, but he also will then be able to do code enforcement too.
Yes. Yes. All officers are still.
Any peace officer can do the code
But
enforcement.
do they need the training to be,
Not
Any
Or-
knowledge of our ordinances.
because the code that they're enforcing are the city ordinances.
okay,
And I suspect all of our police officers have had enough training to know what an outdoor fire looks like. And
okay.
uh,
So maybe I am,
if we were looking for a building codes enforcement
Okay,
person,
that-
that's a different
okay.
occupation.
So
yeah.
that is what I am not understanding. correct?
Yeah, codes enforcement just means enforce city ordinances.
Okay, an ordinance enforcement, and that's fine.
Yeah, and I think the point is that we've had the code enforcement advertisement for a while, and there hasn't been any activity. And instead of prolonging enforcing code, we could get an
So-
officer and it'll
So
be a
we
joint
could have
effort.
done it with
A long time
a
ago.
police officer all along. We really didn't need to get
Well,
a code enforcement officer.
the advantage of bringing on another officer is it's gonna,
I agree with that.
it's going to allow that code enforcement to be spread over 4 people instead of 2 people.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I just wanted to clarify what we were
Okay.
talking about.
So what the chief is asking is that we authorize job advertisement but you're not ready to start that till August, you think, or? should
Yes.
it- Okay. We are in the budget funded for a code enforcement officer, and we would move that salary over for the rest of the year to a 4th police officer is what's gonna happen. And we're gonna authorize the chief to advertise when we're ready. I would say we advertise in the Wilson County News. Tico has classifieds also.
Yes, sir.
TML has classified. So let's, what do you guys want to do?
I think you should put it now, even though you won't be ready till August, because it takes a while, to start that process unless, you think it might happen quicker.
Do we need an agreement or
I
we
think as
just
soon as we put them, we
We'll be ready.
should, yeah, we should get.
post the job advertisement for police
As far as the
officer
We need a
position?
motion to change this position
Yeah,
from
yeah.
code enforcement officer to a police
For
officer
them to even.
When we do that,
and advertise.
when we change the position.
Yeah.
From code enforcement to the police officer doing it, it needs to encompass all the officers.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Just want to make sure that verbiage is in there.
Oh, yeah.
They already are authorized to do the code enforcement as,
That's correct.
so we don't need to. We just need to make a motion to change the advertisement from asking for a code enforcement officer to another police officer, right? We don't need that. So what we need is a motion to advertise for another police officer. So I just made it.
Would you restate that in the form of motion,
I
sir?
make a motion that we change the advertisement for a code enforcement officer to an advertisement to seek another police officer.
Okay. Normally, we mention how often we're gonna advertise and where we're gonna advertise.
Okay, we would advertise for starting,
Wilson County News.
when do you want to start it, Chief?
Middle of August.
So you would want us to start advertising in the middle of August? So should I say the 1st of August?
That's what.
Well, let's look at the calendar.
You don't want to start now?
Intent.
That's quite
I mean,
a while to get one.
We could
I mean, we
we could
could
go through
specify.
the interview process too, right?
We open, let's say we advertise for a month from August 15th through September 15th. And then after that, then we take applications, close it out, we take applications and then narrow it down to the interview process. Select.
If we start interviewing tomorrow for a position that's not open till September,
Yeah, it wouldn't do any
That-
good.
But
the
could,
new hire would have a job by the time we
Yeah.
call him
but
back
could
in.
we specify that in the end? I'm just thinking that by the time they find out that it's posted, by the time we get the application, by the time we review the applications,
You may not get a
Well,
lot of responses.
But somebody
knowing that
won't
they can't
take,
start till
somebody wants a
September.
job by the,
Might not get an
Let's advertise
application
for the beginning of July, keep it open from July
July.
to the end of July and then make a decision beginning of August.
July to August, right?
Yes.
okay, so I make the motion that we begin advertising the beginning of July through the end of July for another police officer instead of a code enforcement officer.
Mhm.
Each edition of the Wilson County News for the month of
Yes,
July,
for the each
Okay.
edition of the Wilson County News,
TML and TCO publications.
TML, TICO,
That's a great motion, sir.
CBS.
Alderman Rutino moves that we advertise the position from the first week of July through the month of July, each edition of the Wilson County News, TCO publications and TML. May I have a second?
I'll second.
And we have a second from Alderwoman Martinez. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously.
And I'll ensure that the advertisement includes verbiage regarding code enforcement as well as the other duties. of Patrol.
Oh, it should be in the job description.
Um,
I don't think that would be necessary, ma'am. We're basically advertising for a police officer and the chief gets to hammer them into a code enforcement officer.
Thank you, Council.
Okay. let's move on to agenda item number 9A. Animal Control Updates and Announcements from Animal Control Advisory Committee Chair Debbie Martinez with possible discussion and or action.
Please, before I forget, Santa Claus is gonna be in the park June 18th.
It's Father's Day weekend, right?
What does your last name?
That's tricky.
Yeah, they're in the 4th. It says they're gonna be here on the 4th and the 18th.
They were here.
I know they're here.
Okay.
A lot of announcements that way. I do have down to item B.
Okay, no more announcements. We'll move to agenda item 9B, discuss and or possible action on procedure to remove inactive members from and or add new members to the Animal Control Advisory Committee. I don't think we really need to talk about procedures. Everybody on the Animal Control Advisory Committee serves at the pleasure of council. As the chair of the committee, you can bring a recommendation to remove or add members, and we will probably take action on your recommendation, ma'am. So,
I've got a few that I would like to remove.
okay,
I've reached out to everybody several times. They never contacted me back. So there's remove Jennifer Puente,
okay,
Annette Federspiel, Nikki Bob. She doesn't show up. And then I'm gonna maintain CJ and Julie. And you, you guys are the only three that ever show up at the meetings.
I'm not part of it, but,
I know.
oh, okay, so you want to remove Jennifer Puente,
Uh-huh.
Lynette Fetterspell.
Mhm.
Did you say another name? Because I didn't hear it.
Miss Ball.
She was not part of the
She was
committee.
in the list that
Uh,
Miss Charlotte gave me.
Just as.
She was on the email list. She wasn't a part of the
Okay.
committee.
So then I just need to remove those two.
Okay. So the recommendation is that Jennifer Puente and Lynette Fetterspell be removed from the Animal Control Advisory Committee.
Yes.
I don't think well, I guess you should present a motion, man.
Okay. Then I present a motion to remove Jennifer Puente and Lynette Fetterspiel from the Animal Control Advisory Committee.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, that's a motion from Alderwoman Martinez to remove Jennifer Puente and Lynette Fetterspell from the Animal Control Advisory Committee, seconded by Alderwoman Alvarado. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that carries unanimously. Their names will be stricken from the list. I see an and or add new members, ma'am. Do you have any recommendations to fill the committee?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir, I sure do. I want to recommend that Kathleen Rocio be on the Animal Control Committee.
Okay, discussion.
She pretty active right now, or?
She's a very hard worker.
Yeah.
Should be an asset.
I just donated some beds to the city and I'd help neighbors with food and we built dog houses for neighbors' dogs to get them out of the sun. And if I've gone out and bought plastic pools because they forget to fill the water bowls. So the pools act as cooling stations. So I've done a lot for the neighbors, bringing food, so on and so forth, especially during the pandemic. Some of our senior neighbors couldn't get out, so I was buying the cat litter, schlepping it over there. And we've got 2 strays that wandered into my yard that I've adopted. I will get them.
Further questions or discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
I'm gonna make a motion to add Kathleen Russi.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion from Alderwoman Martinez to appoint Kathleen Recio to the Animal Control Advisory Committee, seconded by Alderman Rapino. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Welcome to the committee, ma'am. And agenda item 9C, discuss enter possible action on procedures to fill the open position of animal control officer. As everybody, I believe, is aware, Officer Ellis submitted his resignation and effective immediately walked out the door. So I believe we want to hire a full-time animal control officer. And we need to determine how we're going to advertise and when we're going to advertise. So I would take a motion to seek to hire an animal control officer, and where and how long are we going to advertise that position?
Can I interject on that? My nephew was the animal care and control officer for Bear County.
Class B misdemeanor, ma'am. I'm sorry.
When would we be able to advertise?
No, you can't interrupt. Okay,
Where are the good places at to advertise that we actually get responses from? I mean,
We should.
where should we be advertising that? 'Cause I look at San Antonio and shoot, McDonald's is offering $15 an hour to start. So I'm asking, where is a good place to hunt for somebody that would be willing to do this?
our previous animal control officers both came from in the city.
And both came in as public works.
Yeah, both of them started as public works and moved to animal control.
She ran away.
So,
She started public works.
Oh, yeah.
So,
See where you're at.
yeah, I mean, we can advertise far and wide. I believe that the last time we actually had an applicant from Florida who was perfectly willing to move over here at $75K a year, but we chose a local instead.
Well, I can understand that too.
So our most profitable method of advertising for animal control officers, hire someone for public works. But I think we need to, again, publish in the Wilson County News for at least 2 weeks.
TML has their
TM
website.
TML classifieds, post on social media and the website.
And
What do you mean by social
determine
media?
whether, go ahead, I'm sorry.
What do you mean by social media?
We generally
Well, I mean,
advertise on different Facebook pages and Nextdoor.
Are we looking for someone that's already certified? Because the two that we had, we paid for their certification, their training and certification and.
Well, that would be a plus,
It would be.
but that would also increase the salary we would have to pay.
Sure,
Um,
once we get them
The-
certified.
The other part is the ACO doesn't have to be immediately certified. He has up to a year to gain that certification. So we might want to actually put him on the ground and give him some OJT
He just
to
wouldn't be
determine whether
certified.
he has the personality to be an animal control officer.
He wouldn't have the authority to pick up dogs.
No, he would.
An
I-
uncertified ACO can pick up a dog.
I'm telling you, ma'am, that the health and safety code says he has up to 1 year to become certified after he starts. Studied up on
Like a
it.
grace period.
Yeah.
Like a grace period where he's okay with it.
Well, you know, in a small city like this, we might not have an opportunity to send somebody to school for a few months.
That's why they do.
As I say, that, you know,
Mhm.
state statute says up to 1 year, he has to be certified within a year of hiring.
Mhm. Makes
Uh, And we do have a certain police officer that can assist him with some OJT. So
Who is trained?
Hmm?
He's trained.
he's still certified.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's where we're at. He's resigned. I think we need to replace him. We need to make a motion to replace. We need to make a motion to how to advertise. So,
I'd like to make a motion that we do replace the animal control officer, that we advertise and run an ad in
okay,
the
so
Wilson County News, TNL, social media, and on our website, and that we run that ad from July 1st till the end of July.
I would recommend that we start advertising with the next available issue of the Wilson County News.
That works. We'll amend that. Next available.
Okay, would you restate your motion, sir?
Yes, sir, I will. I make a motion that we run an ad for a full-time animal control officer, and that we run our ad in the Wilson County News at the next available printing. We run it in the TNL as soon as possible. Put it on social media no later than tomorrow morning and on our website. And then we also find a way to push it into Facebook and Nextdoor as soon as possible.
Okay, the motion is to advertise for an animal control officer, Wilson County News, TML, our city website, and available social media outlets.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Alderman Coffendacker and a second from Alderman Rapino. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Madam Secretary, will you dust off the verbiage and
I will try to make the deadline for Wilson County News, which is noon tomorrow, for
Oh.
Wednesday's edition.
if you can, then it'll be the next week.
It's a short deadline.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty then, let's go on to agenda item 10. A Parks and Recreation update and announcements from Park Advisory Committee Chair Rapino with possible discussion and or action.
Yes, I don't have too much to report. We had a meeting on Tuesday. It was a good meeting. We talked about a few things. I will probably be coming to council next council for to ask for some equipment that we might need to enhance some things in the park, but I won't talk about that yet. We have gone to one meeting a month, the first Tuesday in the month, which next month it'll be July the 7th, I believe, or yeah, I think it's July the 7th.
4th is Monday. It's gonna be a Thursday.
I'll tell you in a second. I had it in I lost it. July the 5th. It'll be July the 5th. And next month, since we do have people that have stopped coming to the meeting, I'll probably come with a request to council to remove some, at least one person from the committee. That's all I have.
Okay, so
Alderman Rapino, do you think you're gonna get limited participation if you make it Friday after 4th of July?
Tuesday.
No, I don't think.
No,
Tuesday.
that-
The fifth.
I don't think so.
that'll be the Tuesday after the 4th.
Oh, gotcha. I thought I heard Thursday.
No.
All right, you're good.
Okay. With no further discussion, let's go to agenda item 11A. And I'm bringing this to the table. Folks, we got 29 and a half miles of streets in Sandy Oaks. We have a 32-acre park and another 22-acre park. We have a community center. We have the municipal building. We have the animal control facility and a couple sheds and a maintenance area down there. We got a tractor. We got 0-turn mowers. There is much more work than two people can do. I'm recommending that we bring on an additional public works employee full-time. That position has not been funded for this year, so we will have to adjust the budget to accommodate it. But we're killing our two public works people. I think we need to do what we need to do to get some help in the public works department.
Where are we gonna amend the budget from? Where are we gonna take the funds from?
Well, I thought somebody told me that there was $81,000 left in the public works budget at our last meeting. We funded the chief code enforcement officer for an entire year, and we're halfway through the year now. I think we can move the money. I'll give up my princely mayor salary.
Yeah. We'll all give up our salary.
So, yeah, I think it's past time to step up,
I agree.
because we have many things to accomplish and we're continually falling behind.
Mr. Mayor,
And I don't believe we can work our people any harder than they are. Yes.
based on what you're telling me, we don't need one more employee. We need two.
Well,
And that's something I would be looking at right now. Because we're not looking for the most, we're not looking for the man or lady that holds construction certifications and
No,
demands
no.
that $75,000.
no, we're not. But
we
we
need-
are looking at least McDonald's quality people at $15 an hour. I mean,
I understand.
that's pretty much the new minimum wage.
So, you know,
And as I say, this position's unfunded, so we will have to be moving money. If we want to look at an additional public works persons, I think we should try to put that in next year's budget as a line item. Only my opinion. Okay, I have the opinion, I have the hammer, but you guys actually run the city, so
I know. From everything I've already heard with the
we have,
numbers,
no, we
I have
have,
the money. I mean two.
oh, the second one, yeah. that's better.
it'd be close, but I think we could.
You also want to keep
For
your surplus, right? in your account.
Let us look at one now. And you can study the budget, sir, if you can come up with the excess funds to hire another person, we would take it under consideration.
I'll sponsor that with you come next time.
Absolutely.
Let's look at
We
the
have to
budget and
look
see what we can
Yes.
afford to.
We have to worry
If we can
about
get to,
things
we
that
will.
we're
Right now, we'll start with
not anticipating in the future.
Well,
Something may happen and that we may.
That is correct, sir. I mean,
And at 15 an hour, that's 31,200 a year. Adding two is over 60, 64, 62,000.
okay,
And we have hurricane season.
actually it
Thanks.
started,
Yeah, it started.
It started 9 days ago.
Yeah.
but,
Can't feel it with her.
All right, well, if there's no further, no, you gotta say that.
no, you
He's already
you
looked
can
at
say
those. Go ahead,
that.
make your motion.
But if there's no further discussion, I'm ready for a motion.
All right, well, I'll make a motion that we open up one Public Works employee position to be advertised in the Wilson County News, TML, social media, the website. I think effective as soon as possible and run it through the end of July.
Are we considering the salary?
Not at this time, Tim.
Okay,
You must interview before you.
okay.
Okay, so the motion is that we open the position for an additional public works and full-time public works employee. Advertising in the Wilson County News, TML,
Social media.
website and social media.
I'll second it.
Okay, the motion was made by Mayor Pro Tem Martinez, seconded by Alderman Coffindaffer. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is unanimous also. Agenda item 12, administration unfinished business. Discuss and/or possible action on accepting one of two applications received and appointing a new member to the Citizen Complaint Review Board. I misplaced mine, of course.
Here, you can use mine.
Well, let's just go.
What you're looking for.
No, let's just go right straight to the meat of the matter. I don't need to see either one of those. I
Okay.
already know. We have an application from Debbie Coffindaffer, and we have an application from Cynthia J., better known as CJ Walker. And I've kind of addressed this. I thank Mrs. Coffindaffer for her application, and if Terry was not a seated alderman, I would feel comfortable in that appointment. But since he is an alderman, I would be much more comfortable with the appointment of CJ Walker. Just my personal opinion.
That was like,
Who's the council member on the CCRB?
Grace, but Alderwoman Alvarado.
There's really not a conflict there. Because
But
Coffindaffer-
sir, I'm in agreement. There is not a conflict. But I'm kind of a New Testament guy where it says abstain from all appearance of evil.
Yes, sir.
Because seated at this table,
We're a small town that doesn't need a bunch of crazy drama.
we're a small
And it's
town, and
always
and I
come out.
guarantee the drama would be off the charts.
Yeah.
and also because of the situation, right, the form of the complaint board, you know, I mean, it's just so close to.
Yeah.
City.
You know, Marshall.
So you need a motion, right? You need a nomination? Is that what
Before you do, I believe it's fair for me to say that my wife has already said that she would turn down such an offer
Okay.
because of what I'm doing. So
Well,
please
then
do
that,
not have any heartache about it.
That-
Bless her heart, she was all for it,
I can do
but
that.
after I took this position,
Yeah.
she said she'd rather not. So I can understand that.
Well,
But I thank her for her participation because not.
oh,
too many people
yes,
stepped
but
up.
heavens to
Absolutely.
Betsy, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But
Mhm.
I'm in agreement with your wife, and I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, 'cause I was gonna abstain from the vote if I had to.
Well, and that would be
It's the one
just.
time I could.
Happy wife, happy life.
Very.
So what do we need, a nomination?
I believe we need a nomination for,
Okay, then I will nominate Cynthia J. Walker to take the position on the City of Sandy Oak Citizens Complaint Review Board.
all right, the nomination is for Cynthia J. Walker to be appointed to the City of Sandy Oak Citizen Complaint Review Board. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, the motion was made by Alderman Rapino. The second is by Alderwoman Alvarado. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
That's unanimous.
Yes, I
Ma'am?
did.
Yes.
I have to.
No, you can't abstain, sir,
Yes, I can, because this is on a personal matter of me and my family. And
but
it's
your,
if I do not
But
vote
she's not-
for or
You're-
against, even though I am sitting on this council.
your wife was not nominated, sir.
Exactly. And
Uh,
I will not vote against the person who was nominated, no, I vote for.
We'll talk about this later, sir, but that's not proper form. Yeah, if there's no conflict of interest, you are duty bound to vote aye or nay. That's
And I make it unanimous.
okay. That is unanimous, man. We we'll talk later. Well, and just straight up, unless there is a conflict of interest, everybody here is sworn to do their duty, and unless there's a clear conflict of interest, your duty is to vote yes or to vote no, and not to waffle. But that's just, Robert's Rules of Order, which we adopted years ago as the rules we were going to run these meetings by. Okay, so agenda item 12 has been handled. Agenda item 13, new business, discuss and or possible action or ordinance 2022-204 prohibiting smoking in and on certain municipal properties. This has basically been brought about because smokers almost burned down our handicapped ramp. Yeah, out here. We had a plastic bucket that cigarette butts were being dropped in, and it built up and caught on fire and actually charred some of the wood. So basically, this ordinance says you can't smoke in or within 25 feet of an operable door or window in any municipal building. There is provision for outdoor areas being declared as no smoking zones. If we get a baseball field and a set of bleachers, I think it would be reasonable that that would be a no smoking zone, because it and in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whereas it says the city council of San Diego, Texas declares the purpose of this ordinance are 1, to protect the public health and welfare by prohibiting smoking in enclosed places and specified outdoor areas in the city, and 2, to guarantee the right of non-smokers to breathe smoke-free air, recognizing the need to breathe smoke-free air shall have priority over the desire to smoke. And quite honestly, city council were the worst people about gathering at a door and everybody else had to walk through our smoke cloud to enter or leave the building. So, you know, if there's discussion or questions, I would entertain them now.
Well, it says certain municipal grounds. So would that mean this property from the gate all the way down to this building? is not-
Where are you? So, where,
You said you were open for discussion?
yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry, section 5.
section 5. Go ahead, sir.
The way it's worded, the verbiage of it, municipal grounds, in other words, all encompassing, does that mean that
Yeah,
from
yeah, no, you're reading the headline, sir. Read the
Yes.
article.
shall be unlawful for any person to perform the following acts on any city-owned or leased grounds designated by the city council?
There you go, sir. Designated by city council. If, unless there is signage that says no smoking beyond this point or no smoking, it's not been designated.
Okay,
Okay, and as I say, my personal opinion, we might want to designate the pavilion down at the park as a non-smoking area. Again, if we put up bleachers for a baseball game, I think that should be a non-smoking area.
I believe 50 feet away from the playground down there should be non-smoking. I'm with
Yeah,
you.
if you believe that, sir, then you can bring it up at a city council meeting and make a motion that we do so.
Well, I'm just following your example, sir.
Right, and yeah, no, the outdoor areas will specifically have to be designated by city council as no smoking areas. But
Okay.
that's what the verbiage says.
Okay, that brings me to the question of cost.
Okay.
Signs.
Standard stock no smoking signs from Amazon are run on the area of $25 to $35. Stickers for all the city vehicles are $7 for a package of 6. So, yeah,
Where exactly was the 25-foot rule that you had mentioned? Okay, there it is. Section 4.
but
Okay. It'll be unlawful for any person to perform the following acts in any municipal building in the city in a vehicle leased, owned, operated by the city, or within 25 feet of any public entrance, exit, or operable window to any municipal building. I'd like that to be changed, sir,
what is that?
to 50 feet.
Uh,
Because 25 feet of cigarette smoke is not very far at all. Yes, ma'am. That is a motion to change that one verbiage from.
No. It's a motion to amend,
A motion to amend
okay,
that verbiage.
by striking,
25 feet, by striking 25,
if I may, sir,
please.
I'll recommend the verbiage of your everywhere within the ordinance, you see 25 feet, strike it and replace with 50. Because as you read through, there's some more 25 feet.
Then yes, I'd like to make a motion that every place in this ordinance where it says 25 feet be struck and replaced with 50 feet.
Okay. I see. Right away, the signage down there is all described and everything. Sandra, you can take care of that, can't you?
Yes, if we have a second. mover.
Okay. Any further discussion on that amendment?
Yeah.
If not, I would look for a second.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion by Alderman Coffin-Dapper is within the ordinance, every instance of 25 feet be struck and replaced with 50 feet. And Alderwoman Martinez has seconded the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? The amendment is adopted unanimously. Further discussion?
Now we need the ordinance.
I would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance number 2022-204 as amended.
I'll move that ordinance number 2022-204 as, be approved as amended.
Okay, I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 2022-204 as amended. Do I have a second?
Who made that motion?
Madam,
Who
Madam,
made that motion?
Okay.
Alderman Rubino made the motion, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. And Alderwoman Alvarado has seconded the motion. All in favor of adopting ordinance number 2022-204 as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That ordinance is adopted unanimously. Woo-hoo. Administration agenda item 13B, discuss and or possible action on ordinance 2022-205, providing for the regulation for storage and parking of recreational vehicles to allow for abatement and amending to ordinance 2016-57. The history of the ordinance is we adopted it. Looking at an instance of abuse of the old ordinance in the city, we had no methodology to abate or remove violators of the old ordinance. So this updates the ordinance to provide removal and impoundment of recreational vehicles in the city that are in violation of the ordinance. So open for discussion or amendment.
We have some blanks to fill.
Ma'am?
Page 3 has some blanks to be filled in, so.
Yeah. Okay, if we're not having any discussions or amendments offered, we do have some fill in the blanks on this. Section 4, item B, any official of the city or any peace officer or any agent of the city is given authority to tow or cause to be towed to a city impound lot or other place designated as an impound lot, any recreational vehicle or trailer which is parked in violation of any kind of any of the provisions of this ordinance or any other ordinance of the city, and they're kept until in redemption shall be made by the owner or his duly authorized agent after payment to the city of the sum of, and that's blank, together with all of the cost of removal and storage that may have accrued thereon. If any recreational vehicle or trailer is stored on a city impound lot or other place designated as an impound lot, the storage fee shall accrue at, again, a blank per day. So basically, we will have a fine if you want your travel trailer back, plus the
Storage.
plus the contractors or the towing vehicles charge. And then the impound lot fees. So how painful is it gonna be for folks to retrieve their illegally parked recreational vehicles?
I'd say start at $1,000 and $50 a day.
Oh, I don't think we can do that, sir, because this is a Class C misdemeanor. We're limited to, we're limited to a maximum of $500, sir.
Okay, we'll do $500.
Mayor, I have a question. Do we have an impound lot?
We do not, but there are several available. We just need to determine.
Yeah, because at first it says to be towed or cause to be towed, and then it talks about the impound lot. So I'm thinking it's not gonna be towed somewhere else, right? Because then how do we collect? They pay over there. So we have to have it.
Yeah.
We don't release it until they pay. Because
Don't release it.
going to the impound lot without a release notice just gives you an extra trip.
If I
Yeah.
advise them to hold that vehicle
To
until
hold it.
further what, and it can only be released.
Yeah, no, if it's impounded, they don't release it until, without a notice of release.
I'm just thinking about when my car was towed, I just went and paid and I got it. I didn't know that there was permissions.
Yeah, well, That's a different thing. Having your car towed is one thing. Having it impound is a whole different thing.
It's just a car.
Chief, would you chime in with what you think a reasonable fine and a impound lot charges would be?
I would probably recommend, well, Texas Towing, I believe they charge, just to get it towed and hook up itself is $125, $130, depending on how much it costs per day.
You don't know what they charge for an impound fee?
No, not per day. But I know what for a hookup today is $125, $130.
I tried to get hold of Chief Pena today to ask him what their impound lot fee charges were. Last I heard, they were like $75 a day.
Yeah.
We probably ought to have all this figured out before we.
Well, you're right. Would you like to postpone action on this, sir?
I would.
Then make a motion that we
I move
postpone
that
action.
we postpone action on, we probably have to have a second reading anyhow, since we're leveling.
Sir, let's,
Yeah, I recommend that we postpone action on 2022. What would be the number on this?
2:05.
What,
205.
205? Until we determine the
okay,
cost.
sir. We don't do recommendations, we take motions.
I make a motion that we postpone
Postpone.
action on this ordinance.
Okay, the motion is we postpone action on this until the next regular business meeting. For the gathering of facts, by Alderman Rapino. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
And Alderwoman Martinez seconds the motion to postpone. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Chief, I'm gonna ask you to research, I don't care about towing fees, that's between the person and the tow company, but impound fees.
Okay, yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we're gonna step on up to agenda item 13. C, discuss and or possible action on resolution 2022-160 designating an officer or employee to calculate the no new revenue tax rate and the voter approval tax rate. As we go into July and August, we are going to be really busy calculating budgets and tax rates. And generally speaking, the county, when they certify the property tax roll, will provide us with the no new tax rate, revenue tax rate. But somebody has to write a love letter that certifies that as part of the budgetary process. Quite honestly, as the designated CFO on the city, I should do that. But we need to make it official. Who's going to oh, here we go. City of Sandy Oaks City Council designates the Bear County Tax Assessor Collector as the person who will calculate and certify the no new tax revenue rate and voter approval tax rate as approved by section 2604 of the property tax code. This resolution shall be in full and effective immediately from and after its passage. So basically, they're going to do the figuring and we're going to accept it.
Is that kosher? Is that usually the way it works?
That's the way it's done every year, sir, but we have to.
You say every year, I've only been here 6 months.
You don't want to calculate the tax rate.
We have to say, yep,
Okay.
there we go.
So we need a motion is what you're telling us.
And then I will write a letter that says, these are those. But yes, we need a motion to accept to adopt the resolution. And a second.
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution 2022-160, a resolution of City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas, designating officer or employee to calculate the new tax revenue rate and the voter approval tax rate.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion from Alderman Coffindaffer to adopt resolution number 2022-160 and a second from Alderman Rubino. The discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that passes unanimously. And moving right along. Agenda item 13D, discuss and or possible action on appointing a city employee to replace Dalton Ellis on the Citizen Complaint Review Board. I would like to nominate Mike Avendano, our Public Works employee.
Will he accept it?
Oh, you already took it? To it.
Yes, he will accept it.
I'll make a motion to accept,
Appoint. sir.
appoint Mike Avendado as the person to replace Dalton Ellis on the Citizen Complaint Review Board.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Martinez had made a motion to appoint Mike Avendano to the Citizen Complaint Review Board.
I'll second.
Alderman Rubino seconds the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Well, congratulations, Mike. Okay, agenda item 13E. I am going to pull that from the I'm going to postpone that. I have sent out an email asking for a poll of people who can attend a special meeting next week. I need to expand this beyond 2 handicapped ramps. So we're gonna postpone this.
Until further notice,
Ma'am,
until the next meeting.
I'm gonna try to schedule a special meeting to address this
Oh, okay.
issue. So moving on to agenda item F. Discuss and or possible action on approving invoice number 53759 from Armstrong Bond and Associates for $11,400, which exceeds the budget amount of $10,000 by $1,400. There was trying to think of the technical term, kerfluffle in the midst of the audit that was in no way, shape, or form Armstrong Bond and Associates' fault. Normally, the $10,000 would have covered an audit. Because of the surrounding conditions, it didn't. We're exceeding the budget amount, so I need to seek approval for council to pay the bill.
Make a motion to approve the bill as it stands for $11,400.
Okay, the motion is to pay the invoice for the invoice amount of $11,400. May I have a second? And we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is unanimous, ma'am. And
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I would entertain the motion. May I have a second?
Second it.
Okay.
Was Mike
Alder-
Martin-
Mayor Pro Tem Martinez made the motion. Alderman Coffindaffer loudly made the second. And all in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned at 8:37, 8:27. I didn't get a chance to drink tea and my throat is really dry.
Michael, did you shut the recording off?
Nope.